So in poker rooms around the United States and around the world, the poker dealers can work and play in the poker rooms that they work at. Should they be able to? Should you be allowed to? That's a topic I'm going to address today. So a topic that's underrated in the poker room industry, is the question of dealers playing in the rooms that I work at. Now, the reason why some poker rooms allow their players to play in the rooms that they work at is very, very simple. They want to keep the games going. You know, in order to get that rake, you know, the money that they make for the house, you have to have games. And sometimes the games get short. And if you fill those short games with off-duty poker dealers, that rake will continue to generate. But there's like in my opinion, a little ethical subject to poker dealers playing in the room that they work at. When I first started dealing, the room that I work at used to allow poker dealers to play in the room. And it was weird because every time I did it, I felt kind of funny because you're playing against people that are essentially feeding you. You know the term, don't bite the hand that feeds you? Now, if I go play with a player that I've dealt to all day and I suddenly beat him out of like a $200 pot, that player's got to think about it. And that player's got to think about, you know, not tipping you the next time. Now, I know poker is a game of competition, and generally speaking, most poker players don't really care if a dealer is playing their game. In fact, there's an old adage that poker dealers are really, really bad players. And in a way, it's right, but not all poker dealers are bad players. So they welcome us in the game, but it's just the subject. It gets to, there's some awkward situations that come up when you play in the room that you work at. Let's say you you do a shift and you get off work and you sit in that same game you dealt at. There's a hand that comes up, and let's say you flop like the absolute nuts, and you're heads up with the person that that's a regular customer that you dealt to for all day, all year, and he's a regular. The tendency is not to play that person the right way. Like normally you would bet hard on that. But because you're thinking about this player, like I'm gonna deal to him tomorrow, and if I bet big here, he may get mad, or he or she may get mad and may think about the next time you're dealing with that person and you push that person to the pot, he may not tip you as well as he did in the past. And the one thing that's an example of is soft playing. Now, you should never ever soft play anybody in poker. It's ethically bad. It's bad for the game. Now, if you're soft playing somebody that you're essentially your customer, it really, really looks bad upon the other players in the game. So you really want to play hard. So that's the one thing you have to worry about. The second thing you have to worry about is it just looks really, really bad. Let's say you lose a couple $100 and you're tilting and you're like not playing, and you start playing a lot of hands and you're pissing off customers. The one thing you don't want to do is piss off the customers, especially when you're an off-duty dealer, because what it does, it makes a bad reflection upon the poker room that you work at. Now, let's say I'm sitting in a game, and let's say I've lost a couple buy-ins, and I'm a little perturbed, a little angry, and I start tilting my money, and I start acting crazy. there's a person at that table will go back to wherever they came from, some tours, and say that don't play in this room. They have dealers that are playing there and they act crazy when they lose, and they made the game really, really bad. So you don't really want to do that. So, I mean, the bottom line is, although I don't think it's a terrible thing that poker dealers play in the room they work at, because they're essentially helping the room make money. My opinion is you should not play in the poker room that you work at for the reasons that I just mentioned. Number one, it encourages soft play. You don't want to play against somebody that's your customer, that you're not playing the right strategic way of poker, because you don't want to piss off that player because you're afraid of that he or she may not tip you. The second thing is, of course, is if you're tilting, you lose a lot of money and you act crazy because you're losing, it shines a negative light upon the whole poker room as a whole. You don't want a player to go back home and say that don't play in this poker room when you go to Las Vegas or whatever room you work at, and say this guy he makes the room do bad, because as a result, people won't come, and then you'll lose money. So the poker room that I work at now does not allow people to play in the room, which I am all for now. I really love it, and I think it's the best policy. I think all poker rooms should adopt that policy, unless of course you work in a city in a poker room where it only has 1 or 2 poker rooms. I think you should be able to play. But if you live in Las Vegas like I do, and there's so many like options for off-duty poker dealers to play, I don't think you should allow them to play in the poker room that they work at. Just my opinion. So that is it for this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Once again, you guys leave a comment about this. Tell me what you guys think about this subject. Don't forget to smash that like buttons and give me a thumbs up, and share with your friends.